please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Cap radar, well, quiet on the index front, but like Ashwini said, the stock-specific action could be picking up. And some of the stocks actually look at something like a quick heel. That stock has risen about 5% and the bulk of it has just come in the last few minutes, or it's sitting near the high point of trade. And JM Financial is the other one, although it's just come off of the high point, but still seeing quite a bit of a spike. The other stock we want to focus on at the moment is RPP Infra. They've won a small order. I think it's a 39 crore order that they have won from Sumitomo Electric Industries, which includes the construction of concrete duct bank and supply of all necessary items, including HDPE pipes. Nithya, the whole-time director of the company, now joins us on the telephone line. Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon to you. Can you just take us through what this order means in terms of what are the kind of margins you enjoy on these orders? What does it take your order book to, and what's the pipeline looking like?
Good afternoon, ma'am. This is the order we went from Sumitomo. Actually, Sumitomo and Siemens is the total worth of order is around 3,276 crores. Out of that, Sumitomo's portion is 1,594, and it is the first. It is a prestigious order for us. Since getting order from Sumitomo itself is a prestigious order.
Right.
Apart from that, this is the first time in India the HVDC cable, which they are going to lay in the underground. Till now, it is done in a overhead line only. It is done. Now it is the first time they are doing it under the earth, and we are proud to be the first person for doing this.
All right.
As of now, our order book as of June is around 850 crore. By adding this, another 40 crore will be added.
All right. Ma'am, we're out of time, so we're going to thank you for sharing the details on that order win for the moment. We need to focus on this news that's coming through from DCB Bank. It's a reaction, essentially. There was a report earlier this morning saying that a Pakistani bank by the name of Habib Bank had been fined about $630 million by the US banking regulator. There were some violations which had been found. Now, the connection between this Habib Bank and DCB Bank is that they share the same promoter. So now the clarification that's coming from DCB Bank says that there's no impact essentially of the violations by Habib Bank on DCB Bank, and that the promoter continues to remain committed to the bank, the promoter which is actually the Aga Khan Foundation. As of now, there's this news is doing little to lift sentiment on the stock itself. The stock slipping some more, in fact, since this news came out, now down about 5% We'll try and touch base with the bank and get some more clarifications from them. But for now, the stock down about 5%. Also in focus remains the Adani Group, because we understand that all approvals for their Carmichael coal mine project in Australia are now in place. This was something that the Australian Trade Minister himself had said. So we caught up with the management. That's Jayakumar Janakaraj, the CEO and the country head of the Adani Group's Australia business. And he says that they expect commercial production from the Carmichael mine to start in 2020.
As we had projected earlier, and as in the statement given by our group chairman, we are expecting to start the works in this next month, and commercial production to start March 2020, which is the schedule that we've got. And as you indicated, there will be a ramp up from 2020 onwards. First phase is 25 million tons of production, which is from a single open pit. The funding arrangements are all being put in place for the mine through the ECAs, the banks, and through some of our contractors and lease arrangements. The margins would be healthy and not just dependent on price, but since the cost of production is quite efficient, from this operation, there will be quite a healthy margin. I'm not extremely, wanting to get into any of these guidance discussions. These are numbers, like you said, are being derived based on the discussions. But I would surely say that these kind of targets are surely in the range of achievement.
Okay, that is Adani. There's news at the bottom of the screen. This is Reuters Newswire. The Tata Group India CEO is saying that in merger talks with other companies, including Tata Steel. I am assuming this is in reference to maybe a arm of Tata Steel. I would imagine so. But we'll have to put it in the right context. But I don't think we have the context yet. Because I don't think the indication, I mean, they're indicating that they want to, there's any potential transaction per se with Tata Steel, the whole entity. So let's just wait for more on this. Because, I mean, Tata Group was one of the parties which was spoken about as a potential sort of purchaser of assets which Tata Steel was selling overseas. I mean, the Indian asset, which is Tata Steel, I mean, the standalone company is extremely profitable. The problem, of course, has been with the European assets, and there too, I mean, the troubled assets have been the UK assets. The Netherlands asset, for example, is very profitable. So, I mean, as I said, we'll need to put this in context. We don't have the context right now. Let's move on then. Let's address some more corporate news flow. German automotive and industrial supplier Schaeffler will be merging its 3 local entities under the listed subsidiary Schaeffler India to build a larger combined entity. Yash Jain spoke with the CEO of the company on the rationale behind this move. Here is an excerpt. The stock was up 12%. It's up 8% plus right now.
We have decided for this merger because we want to simplify our structure here in India. We want to reduce complexity, and we want to, by establishing one strong Schaeffler entity, lay the grounds for a continued and accelerated growth strategy here in India based on the idea of mobility for tomorrow.
Right. Now, today you've, of course, announced the merger between the 3 entities. Help me understand what are the regulatory approvals which you would require for this merger, and also by when do you expect to conclude this transaction?
Well, the merger clearly requires regulatory approval from the stock market authorities and also from the NCLT, both from the Mumbai and from the Chennai benches. We have notified the authorities before we announce the transaction, and we expect that we can send out the notice to shareholders that have to vote in favor of this transaction sometime in the 4th quarter. With the other regulatory approvals that are then necessary, we think the transaction should be closed in the 3rd quarter 2018. So quite a way to go, but we are optimistic that the authorities will support our efforts.
Of course, we get to go through the financials of Schaeffler India as it's listed on the exchanges, but tell me something about the revenue and the profitability for the combined entity. What happens in terms of revenue when these 3 entities come together, and also what's the picture as far as profitability is concerned?
So the Schaeffler India Limited, the listed entity today, has around 230 million euros of revenues. And in combining this entity with the 2 others, we will increase our revenues above 400 million euros on a pro forma basis. We'll basically double the amount of employees from around 1,500 to more than 3,000. We will clearly enlarge the manufacturing footprint of this listed entity, so it will give us a very strong basis for further growth. The key then is that we come to a product spectrum where the strong industrial part that is in Schaeffler India will be combined with the strong automotive part that is in the 2 other entities, and that will form hopefully the leading automotive and industrial supplier for India.
As far as the expansion is concerned for the combined entity, what are the plans there? And of course, in terms of investments, what kind of investments have you earmarked for that expansion which you've planned?
We like to invest with our customers. So our investment is clearly driven by customer demand. The 3 entities together have invested on average in the last year somewhere around 20 million euros, and we think that will double in the next years. It will also include some targeted external growth. So we are enthusiastic here about further building our platform to generate value for all our stakeholders.